Hello, everyone. Thanks, Gareth and the Sit Down team for inviting me to speak today. My name is Santiago Spada, and I'm the CFO and I'm the head of HR for Pirelli Tires Australia. Before Pirelli, I was also the head of finance for a number of companies, but also as many of you joining us today, I initiated my career in the audit world, which gave me an incredible insight to very large multinationals located in Australia. The topic of today's presentation is about finance digital transformation. And for those who know me, can vouch how true passionate I am for transformation in general. And I can say that I spent a few years transforming and renovating my home. Then, not satisfied with that, I took on the renovation of my boat. By the way, that's not my boat. My boat is a little bit smaller than that. But in any case, it was an interesting challenge. And look, I believe that digital transformation, as any transformation project, is as rewarding and that satisfaction of seeing the holistic transformation that can be achieved in an organization when we challenge the status quo, right? Now, I hear from multiple finance leaders that I speak to, and even some who have participated as speakers on these sit-down sessions, have been talking about finance transformation, right? So probably most of the concepts that I will talk about today would already sound familiar to many of you attending today. Though what I want to simply really bring and share is my own journey, right? Which I feel that has been very fruitful for me and for the teams that I have been entrusted with. And I feel that that is what it's all about, you know, be able to leave a legacy that is a little bit better than the company or the organization, the way that we received it when we were first appointed, right? Now, in every transformation project, I believe that we need a roadmap, right? And that roadmap to take you somewhere, right? So defining that destination is crucial, right? And I believe is the very first step, right? Defining that destination, which personally and for the organizations that I've been with, right, and which is very also reflected with my vision for finance, has always been to transform us accountants from numbers crunchers to into real business partners, right? And when I say real business partners, I mean to become true advisors to the business and have a material and tangible and quantifiable impact on the business bottom line, right? Now, once you have a clear destination or vision that I had to work towards, then it's time to define the base roadmap, right? For to get there, essentially, right? And really today, I have no doubt that the main tool for finance leaders can put in place to make an impact really on the bottom line and creating value on the top line for sure is business intelligence, BI and data analytics. And for those that are not extremely familiarized with the distinction between the two, really, we tend to say that BI is the way that we analyze in 3D the scenario and the past information, right? So get conclusions on how we reached to the point where we are today, right? And data analytics is that tool that I know usually is sort of the same tool as well, but it's looking at the future, right? And creating that future looking projection, right? Now, before talking about the benefits and the benefits and really how we reach to that point of implementing and embracing BI and data analytics. And this is a funny story because I share this with my teams in various organizations, right? So the first answer is like, okay, you're planning to hire more people, right? And it is a natural instinct that we say like we are super flat out, right? So how are we going to make space? And that's what it comes down to, right? So I think it comes side by side in this transformation journey to move from some of the routine work that we do into a more digitalized world, right? For what we're currently doing, as well as what we can create as value for the organizations, right? So I think the first step is for my teams and what I have implemented is to identify those bottlenecks, right? Those bottlenecks that doesn't allow us to really develop new initiatives, right? Like BI and data analytics. We all have bottlenecks in month end, or most of us, I would say, year end, auditing period, the collection peaks and the spikes on payables when people are on leave, and these are just a few, right? But these are the main ones that I've seen happening in the organizations that I've been working, right? So the question is really to challenge the status quo, right? How can we challenge the status quo and identify space, right? Create space in our daily life to move into a more value-adding activities as a team, right? And collaborate with the commercial, have a commercial mindset as a team, right? So automation, definitely in the streamline journey, we gotta think about automation, and we'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute. Looking at how processes are currently being done, the reports that we do, the innovation that can be created out of reshuffling things around, really challenging. And I insist on this term, right, to challenge the status quo, right? I was in an organization I won't mention, but joining there and asking, how we can create space, right? So, and the first instinct is to say, no, there's no possibility, right? We are working so many hours. And then I started asking for some of the reports and I identified reports that were created for many managing directors back, that the guy is no longer in the company. So the question to you today is like, okay, this is perhaps an extreme scenario, but where are the spaces that we can create that oxygen, additional oxygen for us to really embrace a more value-adding activity as opposed to the transactional. I'll tell you a little bit about my automation journey and what are the areas that I focus primarily in the companies that I work for. One was accounts payable. So every invoice was manually inserted in the system. Today we have the OCR tools. There's plenty of options, and I'm not coming here to propose any particular solution, but there's so many of them. And I remember 5-6 years ago being invited to conferences where they were selling these tools of, the supplier sends the invoice, I get scanned, and a suggested journal is put inserted in the system, right? And this was hundreds of $1,000s the cost, and today these tools are so achievable, so affordable, right, for medium and small companies, right? And so something to consider, right? I've gone through the automation of accounts payable, and today, okay, so I only have one accounts payable person, so I'm not intending to get this person out of the business whatsoever, right? So the idea is to allocate the resources in more value-adding activities. Likewise, for accounts receivable, we did an implementation alongside with the bank to create intelligent receivables tool, which uses AI. When the money flows in, the system recognizes that there's an open ledger for that particular customer, recognizes the money, matches the. So this tool has been there for quite some time, and it's only getting better and better. So I truly recommend you to look into this. Then document flow. Okay, so I do remember, chasing people for approvals on invoices, and the accounts payable person was really struggling to get all the approvals required. Document flow really made a lot easier and a lot faster the whole process of approvals, right? But analyzing the possibility of a document flow is definitely going to bring and pay off very, very quickly. In terms of credit applications, okay, this was a combination of perhaps not the best experience from a customer point of view, but also the credit application process taking several weeks in some instances. So today it takes only 24 hours max, and that's really our KPI, right? So, and we are not cutting corners on security. We checked all the background details, and we check with insurance, but we do it in a very, very digital way, which creates a different also customer perception, right? So also considering that the customer is connecting with us for the first time, the first impression really counts, right? So creating a nice and digital credit application makes the whole process a lot easier and faster as well. GL reconciliations, there's plenty of tools out there. We implemented a few in different jobs that I've been involved, and which makes the whole GL reconciliation a lot easier, and matching the ledger with subledger and recommending or asking specific explanations for deltas between the two. So no longer having to create forms and reconciling each account on the ledger. And the invoicing is also, I still see organizations, and while I was in the auditing world as well, seeing organizations having people dedicated to invoicing, right? Today we have ERPs, and it doesn't have to be SAP. That I have been exposed to SAP mainly, but there's other ERPs that can give you the same result. So to me, these 6 things have been the low-hanging fruit, and things that I want to really inspire you, not coming here to offer you any solution, any brand or tool in particular, but really for you to think about which of these strategies can be put in place to create that space. Okay. So really, perhaps your organization hasn't been thinking about this yet, but honestly, sooner or later, the change will come to disrupt our lives as we know it. Finance teams really need to embrace automation in order to leave space for these value-adding activities such as BI and data analytics, right? Shift our mindsets to a more really commercially focused and customer-centric one, supporting and influencing the growth agenda, delivering true results through the bottom line, but really supporting the top line value creation, right? And I think that the key tool that, as I was mentioning before, is dashboards, is all the BI that can be, if you have a reliable, and that's really one big statement, right? The data needs to be reliable, right? So that's a journey by itself, and we need to, from finance, as custodians of the ledger, need to make sure that the data that is inserted is accurate and is reliable, right? So, and again, I'm not here coming to promote any particular brand, but these are the main ones that I have seen in the market. ClickSense, I've used it. Tableau, I've used it. TIBC as well is out there. Power BI. Just pick and choose whichever tool you would like to try. But really embrace digital transformation, because it's a very, very self-rewarding journey. So really, I guess the key takeaway that I want to leave out of this short presentation is to disrupt the status quo, right? So the minute that you find yourself in that bottleneck is where you need to let's see what we can improve in the processes to create space, create oxygen, so that the people don't get overly stressed and see this as an exciting project. Really disrupting the status quo and embracing digital transformation. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks, Gareth and the team, for allowing me to present today, and have everyone a lovely day ahead.
Hi, Santiago. It's great to have you with us. Thank you so much for your presentation.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. It's good to see you. Look, what we're doing in this section is just to get to know the leaders behind the keynote presentations, and a couple of quick questions that our delegates have asked us to come back to all of our CFOs with. And the first one is, if you could jump back in that back in time, what advice would you give yourself starting out?
I think when we all first start in our career journey, we need to really assess what type of leader we are, and professional in the accounting spectrum, right? So, because I think that mainly 2 groups is where most of the accountants and finance leaders sit on, right? Those that are subject matter experts, and those that are generalists, right? That like me, that knows a little bit of everything, but not too much of anything, really. But look, there's no right or wrong on this journey, right? We just my suggestion is really for finance people to really think where their journey is going towards, right? To create satisfaction. I've seen in both ends. I've seen people that are genuinely generalists, people that want that feel comfortable in managerial positions, but find themselves stuck in a journey that stuck them confined them in a specific topic, like for instance transfer pricing. Suddenly they started their career in transfer pricing and they saw themselves with 10 years of transfer pricing not able and absolutely unable to move out of transfer pricing. And likewise, I saw potential in some team members in my past experiences leading finance. I wanted to bring a person to a more senior position looking after a team, and that person was uncomfortable with that, right? She wanted to be a subject matter expert. She wanted to be the best at what she was doing, and managing a team was not going to give that person the ability to do so. So there's no right or wrong. Any organization and company needs people with different profiles. But my suggestion is so that we can really enjoy this amazing career that I feel there's room for everyone. But spend time in your development plan and get satisfaction out of that, kicking milestones throughout this journey.
Amazing. Thank you. Now then, big question. It's been a big year, lots of change, lots of disruption. How do you de-stress?
Well, I was mentioning at the beginning of my presentation about transformation. I love transformation in general, right? And I spend a lot of my free time during the weekends in home renovations, and also in my boat, in renovating my boat. And so all those small little projects I find myself that I feel very, very connected with, right? And alongside with my family, right? My family is throughout all these adventures, right? So even this weekend, we are going on a long weekend with the camping trailer. So doing activities with the family, going for bike rides and being on the boat, fishing. I like diving, photography. I have a lot of hobbies, right? As I was saying at the beginning, right? So music, I absolutely cannot spend one day without listening to different musics, and I'm very open to different type of music. So yeah, I have a very active social life as well during the weekends. I think it's finding that balance and watering the different plants that makes the important things of your life, right? Relationships and faith and hobbies and health and sports. All of that is definitely allowing me to come on Monday fully energized, ready for another week.
Beautiful. No, that's an amazing response. That's just fantastic. Now then, a lot of people obviously have gone through favorite TV film, favorite books. Is there a book that's spoken to you this year, and could you share with our audience what that might be and why?
Well, those that know me know that I am not a big book person. I was mentioning about all the renovations, so I cannot be doing everything, doing all the renovations and reading books at the same time. Well, let's put it that way. But in the last 6 months, I've been participating on a CFO program, which has been amazing and very, very fruitful for me, in particular with a person called Alena Bennett, and she's not only a coach for CFOs but also an author herself. She wrote a book about women in finance, which is really great. She allowed me to also have a read to that book, and really the concepts are applicable for not only women but also men in finance, right? And she just launched a new book, CFO of the Future, which is not really a narrative. It is really a true toolbox that I took a lot of advantage from, right? So going through that book, a lot of what she's saying there, it resonates with what happens here in the day to day, and I strongly recommend people to give it a go and look for Alena on LinkedIn and see what the resources that she published online as well, which is really, really good. And also, I take the opportunity if people resonate with any of the concepts that I've been sharing about disrupting the status quo and some of the initiatives that I shared in my presentation. If anyone wants to reach out, I think the opportunity of having a community of finance leaders to share some wins and some not so much wins, right? So that's the different shades of colors that we find throughout this journey, right? So happy for people to connect with me privately and we can share some of those experiences.
Amazing. That's very generous of you. Thank you for that. That's the spirit of generosity and sharing across CFO ANZ that we love to invite. So thank you for that. Thank you for those brilliant answers. And I will check out the book. I definitely will. And thank you so much for just being a part of CFO ANZ for this month. And all the best for the rest of the year. And good luck for 2022. And we hope to hear from you in the next year. So Santiago, thank you for the moment and take care.
Thank you, Gareth, for this opportunity, and have everyone a nice week ahead. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.